Hello, it's Gina Brandstetter with Stampin' Heaven. Today I'm going to be creating a card with our Craft with Heart card making subscription box. There are 24 cards, 2 each of 12 designs. This is the instruction sheet, which is very easy to follow. Well, let's look at what else comes in your box. We have a little black ink, and you also get a block. So if you do not have a block of ink or a block, that comes in your box if you are a new stamper. It also includes some little flower confetti. It has a pretty iridescent color to it. We also have some beautifully colored envelopes. These are not just your white standard envelopes. These are beautiful. We have some pink and green and nectarine. I love to see those colors. We also will be making some shaker cards. So, of course, we've got some shaker foam and some acetate windows to help you create those cards. This is a stamp set. Each box comes with a brand new stamp set. Every time you get a box, the stamp will be different. And there is a great variety of sayings on each stamp set. Now we've got some card bases and some die cuts that helped create the card. So let's open this up. We will take a look at the card bases and some of the die cuts. There are many different pre-printed designs on the card bases. So of course we're making 2 of each design, so you will have 2 each of the card bases, and I'm going to flip through here so you can see the pretty pre-printed designs on the card bases. These really make beautiful cards. We have die cuts, and it is easy to tell which die cuts go with which card because they're labeled card 1, card 2, and there's a line dividing the die cuts, which makes it really easy to find exactly what you need. The die cuts are so easy to pop out. They come out cleanly and just make it effortless to put the card together. Today, I am going to be creating a card number 1 for you from this kit. So let me look to see what we need. I'll look at the instruction sheet and I can tell which card base I have. So it is right here on top. I'll pull these out and I will get my die cuts and pop those out real quick. So I need the ones for card number 1. Which we looked at these a moment ago. So now I'm ready to begin. We will create this first card as instructed. All the cards are pre-scored, so it makes for really easy folding. This is a vertical card, and like I said, it is a shaker card. So I will be creating a shaker card for the very first card. Now I have a banner to stamp my sentiment on. And I'm going to take a look and see which stamp I want to use. The stamp set comes with this little foam sheet, and you need the foam sheet to stamp on. It just helps to give you a good crisp image when you stamp because it's got that extra cushion underneath. Now I'm going to use my own ink and block I have on hand. I like the bigger, thick block. I'm just used to using that, so I'm going to use my ink and my block. Now I'm going to peel the sentiment off of the carrier sheet and add it to my block. And because these are acrylic stamps, they stick really easy to the block. Now this stamp has not ever been used before, and I'm going to season that by rubbing it on my arm. That just gets the residue, any residue that is on there from the manufacturing process. It helps to get that off. You can stamp it off several times to season it, or you can just rub it on your arm. I'm going to ink up my block, and I like to look at the block to make sure I don't have any ink on the block. I can see a little bit of ink on the edges. I'm going to wipe that off so that I do not get that onto the piece that I'm stamping on. I just use my stamp chamois. It is a wet cloth. It's a chamois cloth, and I just wet it. And when I'm finished, I will just lay it out to dry. Now I'm going to stamp the image, and I'm just pressing down, pull it up. Look, it's a nice crisp image. And I'm just going to take that stamp chamois and just wipe off my stamp and add it back to the carrier sheet. Now we are ready to start putting our shaker together. So I'm going to move these things to the side. I have the base of the heart. This will be the base of the shaker. It's got a nice little swash of color right in the middle to give it a little bit of extra color. I'm going to put some adhesive on the back and attach that right there to the center of the card. Now I will get my heart foam, and I'm going to pull out one of these, and I will also need a little piece of acetate. We are going to use the outer ring of the heart. That is what will create the shaker. It's the perfect size. I'll get out my little piece of acetate. This is the window, and it has a protective covering on it. You can see it's kind of pulled back already, so I'm just going to pull that off and set that aside. Now to prepare my heart to put it on, I'm going just to take my scissors and open them up and use the point tip of my scissors to go around the edge of that little heart ring. By doing this, this separates the foam from that ring. It is already cut, but sometimes it's a little sticky and some of the pieces like to hold tight. So I'm just going to make sure that that is pulled away. Now the next thing I will do is I will pull away that backing just from the heart only. And I will lay the heart, flip it down so that the sticky side is down, and adhere that to the heart on the card. And I like to rub around the edge just a little bit, just to make sure that it's stuck really good. Now I'll bend this back just a little bit, and you can see the foam squares pulling away from that outer ring. And I'll just use my thumb just to kind of make sure that they all stay to that one backing and in one piece. So now I'm ready to add the sequins. Now one thing that I like to do when I use the sequins is to use an anti-static pouch. Helps to get rid of that electricity that the sequins just loves to stick to my hand. So I'm just going to pinch the anti-static pouch with my fingers to get some of that little powder on my fingers, and I will just reach in there and grab a pinch or two of the little flower sequins and spread them around. I don't want them to be layered up on top of each other. They need to be kind of flat. And I'm adding my window. There we go. How easy was that? Now I have this outer ring that covers up what we see, the foam, and I'm just going to put some adhesive on it to cover up that foam ring. You can use adhesive, you can use liquid glass, you can use just glue, anything will stick to it. So there, I've added the little heart rim, and now the last thing to do is to add the sentiment. I will add the sentiment right there in the middle, and there. There is the first card. See how quick that was to create that card? Just a matter of minutes. Now the second card, I like to change up the card a little bit. And because the first one was vertical, I'm going to make this one be horizontal. So I'll just place my little heart on here for the shaker. I'll probably put it to the side a little bit so it won't be directly in the center. I like things to be offset a little bit. So I'm going to add the adhesive to the back, and I will do this heart shaker just like I did on the first card. Oh, I need to stamp my sentiment. I almost forgot. So let's do a different one this time. I think that I will choose thanks so much. I can always use some thank you cards. So I am going to stamp thanks so much. And remember, you want to use your foam to stamp on. Now I'm just going to place that on there, double check, make sure that fits the banner, and it does. So I will just pick that up with my block and season my block. This stamp, again, it has not been used before. You can also use an eraser to season it, but I like to use my arm because I can always find my arm while I can't always find the eraser. Let's ink this up. So again, I've got my black ink pad, and I am using my regular large ink pad. If you don't have a large ink pad, that is why you have a little block of ink in the box, so that you will get everything you need. There, that looks really good. Now I just pressed down on it and kind of rubbed my finger back across the block just to make sure that I have a good image before I lift it up. Now clean the stamp, and I'm going to add that back to my carrier sheet. And now we are ready to put our heart shaker together. So I'll pull out some foam and some acetate window. There are 6 heart foams in that little package because we will be making 6 shaker cards. So there will be 3 designs, 2 of each of 3 designs of the shaker card. So you do get exactly what you need for this box. Now I'm just going around again. I'm going around the edge to break away that middle foam from that outer heart ring. And I'm going to place this right there on the middle of the heart and rub it around, make sure it's stuck good. Now I'm just going to peel this back, and you can see how easy this all comes away together. And I can use these little foam squares for other projects too. It really adds dimension to your cards and projects when you use it. So I'm going to add some little flower sequins for my shaker. Spread it around a little bit. And I think I'm about ready to add the little window. Just make sure that's spread around, and I'm adding the window. Goes on so easy. And now I'm just going to add my little ring, a heart ring, which will cover up the foam. And so then the last thing I need to do is just add the sentiment, but I'm going to add some embellishments too. So let's see what things I have on hand that I could use. I've got some embroidery or some embellishing thread. I've got these pretty white acrylic hearts that I've gotten in other kits. They're from the last catalog. I like to use up things that I have on hand. So I may use some of these little white hearts because I have so many of them. And also, look, I've got some liquid pearl. It's sage liquid pearl, and I think it's a perfect color for this card. So I think I will put that on there. Now I'm going to attach my white acrylic hearts with some liquid glass. It dries really quick and clear. And then I will use some of those extra foam squares to add to the back of my sentiment so that it goes even all the way across at the same level. So I'm going to add some foam squares to the one end under the words "so much." That will keep it all even. And then I'll go ahead and add a little bit of adhesive to the other end of the sentiment that actually sticks to the heart. There we go. Perfect. Now I'm going to use my liquid pearl and I'm just going to add some color to these little white hearts. And I'm just going to squeeze it out and I'm going to spread it around with the tip of the liquid pearl. It just adds some pretty color. Another thing I like to use the liquid pearls for is just to add little dots. Instead of adhesive gems, I will use the liquid pearls to kind of add some dots around the card to kind of give it the look of gems, like I've added some more. And I'm not sure how much I'll be able to see around the leaves, but I really like this, so I'm going to add some. And I think I'll add one more right here. So there we go. This is the second card, and I just took the same card, changed the direction, added some embellishments from my stash, and made it a little bit different. This is the first card by the instructions. This is the second card, just changed up a little bit. I'm going to hold it up so you can see that liquid pearl, and when it dries, it will be so pretty. So thank you for joining me for my Craft with Heart card making. You can find me on my Facebook page on Stampin' Heaven on Monday nights at 7 p.m.